Welcome back, ARK players, to a brand new video. Now today's video is a bit of a different one, and the reason why it's a bit of a different one is because I wanted to do something to help out someone who I got on with really well, and I just thought this video could help get some outreach out there. And yeah, but it's also talking about a certain scenario for the game, which is ARK Aquatica, and it's kind of going down the path that we did expect. Now, obviously, the Aquatica devs said that, they're going to continue to continue their promise to keep the servers going until the end of 2025, and it looks like obviously the community manager's still around and they're still doing bits, but it does look like in the background things are slowly crumbling. But we're going to go through it now, and there's lots to talk about, so if you guys enjoy, drop a like, subscribe, it really supports me, and let's get it with the video. Right, so basically I wanted to give a shout out to Zed Swell. And the reason why I wanted to give a shout out to Zed Swell, I did it in some other videos as well, is because I really believe Zed Swell was probably the best thing about Aquatica. And I loved it because I hated Aquatica, what it ended up becoming, the idea behind it. But I spoke to Zed Swell, and he also really was the only one who wanted to get involved in the community, wanted to share stuff, wanted to stream, get it out there and that kind of thing. And I really respected it. And when I said bad things about Aquatica, I felt bad for Zed Swell because he has just been such a, in the terrible situation they were put in, I just felt really bad about that just for him personally. So yeah, and anyway, so we heard that, Studio Sirens / pretty much in brackets Snail Games, is looking to, basically lay people off. And sadly, I saw this on Twitter the other day, or X, whatever you want to call it, and it's Zed Swell, and posted out, "I'm currently looking for new opportunities in level design and world building. If you or anyone is looking, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm open to contract or full-time positions," and here's his portfolio. So this is his portfolio, zedswellstudios.artstation.com. And obviously Natural Causes, big part of the ARK community, said, "What happened to working for Studio Sirens on ARK?" Nakatus responded saying, "Hope you'll find a place where you can work on a product that actually turns out good. I think you did a good job with the conditions in mind. Wish you all the luck." So I do really feel for Zed Swell, because at the end of the day, being able to say that you've worked for, under an ARK product is an amazing opportunity. But I really feel bad for it because, being able to work for Survival Evolved, especially such a big game, is great. But when anyone obviously looks at Aquatica, unfortunately, it's just so negative. And the reason why it's so negative is because it's not good and it was a terrible idea. But the next thing we go on to talking about is something, again, which continues to be the problem. So if you've been following this whole Aquatica stuff, you would have seen that I did a response, and some other YouTubers such as Ras Clark and, GP responded to this community manager that, did, I think, apologize for sort of how it was taken out of context or something. I don't know, or I don't really care about having an apology anyway. This person said, "I'm scared to play this game. I have never seen so many bad reviews on Steam before for any game. I think it's people just rage baiting, just wanted some input. I liked the game beforehand, even though I barely played it." And the response from the community manager was, a lot of them come from a very emotional standpoint. There are reviews in which people strictly reviewed the content. I would say the community here, for most part, is very productive and enjoying what they can with the official server support. Now, by the way, by the end of 2025, the official server support will be gone. Absolutely, ARK Survival Evolved. This is what frustrated me when people got so excited about, like, oh wow, official support for Survival Evolved is coming back. No. This is for there's only limited servers, and it was only going to be to sell this DLC. And I agree with this point where the community manager said a lot of them come from a very emotional standpoint, because yes, a lot of people were disgusted with what they tried to do, and and Snail themselves tried to play on emotional strings by saying it's ARK's 10-year anniversary, now buy this DLC. And if it was a good DLC that was made on ASA, like we said so many times, that people were sold as the future of ARK, then it probably would have gone down better. And maybe Snail could have spoken to Wildcard. We want to work on with you guys a 10-year special anniversary DLC. And if Wildcard said no because they were too busy, well, Snail could have hired, you know, more of a team as well to work alongside ARK to have this 10-year DLC for the game. Maybe Wildcard didn't want it at all, but I don't know. And a lot of people have been saying recently, ever since kind of, you know, the patch that happened for Aquatica, ASC has just been really, really in the mud. And I generally think it could be the end. The only reason, I still think they'll keep a very small community, but they had such a strong community beforehand. And it's just seen a kind of a decline ever since, and we're going to talk about that afterwards. So the person, this person who said, is this good, should I buy it, who possibly went on to buy it in the end, said it takes forever to load into the game too. And then this person, Jade, responded saying there were patches and fixes implemented to improve the in-game FPS, changes caused a bit of lag during to log in. And the community manager responded, the best solution thus far is to leave ASC at the menu screen for 15 minutes or so before loading into a server. Unfortunately, but that is really the best. 15 minutes to load into an online game. 15. What a crazy, crazy, sad downfall that is for ARK. Imagine it being that bad that you have 24 hours of a day, which a lot of that you're asleep, and you have to use 15 minutes of your life to wait to load into an official server, or any server by the looks of things. Maybe it's official server, I don't know, but that is crazy, and that shows the sad, sad state of ASC at this moment in time. When we come over to SteamDB, ASC is seriously struggling, and again, it's an old game, and it has 24,000 peak today. That is good for an old game. I completely agree with people. But this game was solid 40k, 35, 40k every single day. It didn't matter whether it was a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday. It had such a hardcore community that looks like they couldn't play when the patch came out. Then they released a pre-Aquatica patch, and the player count went back up. And then it looks like people are just like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And they've just left. So if we actually go to 3 months ago, right? So remember this. So when you launch DLC, it's meant to shoot the player count massively. Before the DLC, 42,000 concurrent players for the old game. Let's go back to when they did a sale on the 15th of June 2025. You're not wrong. This is 2025, and ARK Survival Evolved 10 years later had 65,000 people playing the game. Fast forward to after. Now, by the way, after the sale, it did start to drop a bit, but as you will see, it stayed around its concurrent 40,000 players. ARK Aquatica dropped, and it was so bad because everything broke and the game literally destroyed because people couldn't use their mods, that it literally stayed at like 18,000 players, 20,000 players. But then it did rise again. The community were like, right, there's a pre-Aquatica patch, that's fine, we're going to get into it. 36,000 players. Over time, it is slowly decreasing. There's always a peak on a Sunday, by the way, because that's when players play the most. And now we're at a stage in September where the game is now at 15,000 players right now, but it would normally be at around 25,000 in the less, in not at peak. So it's really sad to see. If you are an ASC player out there and and just let me know your experience. Like, have you stopped playing? Were you playing were you dedicated to playing all the time? Even if we look at a year, look at this. This is what I wanted to show you guys. A year. Look at what's happened. They did amazing by putting it on sale for like £4. But look, it was even rising here. at the start of January, like 2025. It started growing more. And now look at its sad decline. Let's go 3 years. Back when this is obviously when the game used to be its official servers. It found its life. This was its life. And then it was absolutely slaughtered. And it's so sad to see. So again, it's never my sort of feeling to send any hate to Studio Sirens, because obviously the outcome is that Snail Games are Snail Games, and I really hope there's somewhere that Snail Games will take will sort of learn from this and maybe think about things. I don't think they will, but it would be lovely if somehow they did. But as I said, I really can't see them doing this. And I wanted to give a big shout out once again. Let's zoom in. Zachary, big shout out to you, buddy. I'm sorry things turned out like this for you. I don't know if you expected this to happen. I personally saw maybe this being a thing because everything was just worked with. You guys were worked into the ground. You know, I just believe you deserve the next right opportunity to work with a team where you can show your passion. And if anyone is watching this who is a game designer or game developer or or has any opportunities, it doesn't matter what you work on. If you have any opportunities for Zachary, then of course shoot him across. Follow him on this is on X, and let's support people that generally try and do good in the ARK community. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the video from me. I will catch you in tomorrow's video. We've got some modded stuff coming back, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And I'll see you in the next one.